Hey Dave,
Sam?
just talk us through Tom Wright's selection at fullback. Obviously used a few there and had options with Geordie coming back this week. Why's Tom got the nod?
Um, yeah, look, as we've talked about in the past, I mean, our back three, they all need to be fullbacks. So he's got an excellent skill set, Tom. Thought he was outstanding, probably his best test that he's played at fullback a couple of weeks ago. He's an excellent communicator, really good organiser of people around him, and he's just been in really good form. You look at our bench, we're going to use Geordie to play on the wing and cover midfield. Look, we'd be happy either way, but Tom's been excellent, deserves a crack.
And Quade comes back in, obviously. Had Samu there for the bulk of his games last year. I think it was only Japan where Samu didn't play. Is there a change in philosophy there, not having Samu? How do you want Quade to go about his game?
No. He's trained really well. His experience, the quality of his skill set's really evident when we train as well. And the young fellas outside him have really enjoyed the week. So, look, we've got a clear plan of how we want to play. And while Hunter and Lenny are less experienced than, say, someone like Samu, they've been around a while now. They've played a fair bit of footy together. So they're no longer rookies, and that's the expectation of them. So, we expect them to deliver, and they're good players who've prepared well.
Dave, Quade's obviously a big game player and did it all before last year. But with missing so much rugby the last 4 months, similar to last year as well, but there's the whole Michael Checker thing as well. Do you just let him go about his business, or do you put an arm around him and is there one or two extra things that you might say to him this week just to let him be the understated player he was last year?
Yeah, look, I think that was the impressive thing about Quade last year was, we had a plan going into the game and he implemented it really well. So we've got a clear plan this time as well. And, it's, maybe as a young man, it was important for him to play well and dominate the game, but he's doing it in different ways now. So, the Czech thing, we haven't spoken about it at all. I certainly haven't spoken to him about anything that's historical. So, his focus is on playing well for us, and we expect him to do that.
Just the 6-2 split. It's the first time I think that you've chosen a 6-2 split for a Test match. Why this game?
Yeah, you could always say it's a bit of a risk, and you lose a back early on, and you're under a little bit of stress. But we just felt that the battle up front's going to be really important. They're a good side. They'll be really combative. We've got genuine guys who can change a game on the bench as well and give us go forward, and then defensively, give us massive work rates. So we tossed it around a fair bit before we committed to it, and with Jed. Had a significant calf tear, and we don't see him going massive minutes. So to have someone like Rob Leota on the bench and still Pete Samu gives us a bit of flexibility there. And if we got under a little bit of heat, Pistol's quicker than most of our backs anyway, so we'll slot him out wide.
So just on Jed, I mean, he's featured a lot of the World Tries at second row. Have you always seen him as more of a 6 prospect?
I think from an international perspective, we've got some big men who can play in the second row, and he's got a great skill set, Jed, whether it's ball in hand or line out as well. So it certainly strengthens our line out.
Just going to say on another debutant, Matt Gibbon come off the bench. Does someone like him just showcase how important the Australia A program is for guys just to really showcase their talent at another level?
Yeah, I mean, that program was great. Obviously, we've picked a handful from there to join us, Lalakai and Hodgie, Jock Campbell and Matt, and now with Billy Pollard arriving at some stage tomorrow, hopefully. So it's been awesome that those guys have had combative footy against full-strength international sides. So it's been awesome.
Sorry, Dave, just back to Jed, could you just talk to us a little bit about the grit and determination for him to stay the course? I mean, over the years, there's been a lot of setbacks and barriers there, and you've only got to look at, those last injuries that you mentioned. But what does it say about him to see it through and to finally be at this point?
Oh, look, we're all really excited for him. Such a good man. Had a massive season for the Waratahs and deserves this chance. We would have included him against England had he not got injured. So he's had to be patient. But yeah, look, he's as I said, he's got a really good skill set. He's an excellent line-out forward. He's got a bit of an edge about him. We think that's going to be important going into the weekend.
Hey Dave, just after your thoughts on the Argentina team, any surprises in what Michael Check has selected?
No, it's a good side. Probably as strong as they can put out on the park. So, look, we're certainly aware of the enemy. We've had the boys doing a bit of study to ensure we know what's coming, and so that's a good side who will take confidence from a series win over Scotland.
Just quite a few players that haven't experienced the Argentinian atmosphere environment before. So is it a matter of the senior players sort of talking to the younger ones about what to expect? Are you chipping in that regard?
If you guys went to a football match on Sunday, they got a pretty good idea of how passionate the supporters are over here. So, look, we've played in some full crowds over the last 12 months, around the globe, and you just got to embrace this sort of atmosphere. It's going to be awesome. It'll be heaving. It'll be noisy. I guess our job's to silence them, but even when you go to the football games, they're jumping up and down and singing and chanting, whether they're winning or losing.
Dave, you haven't had all that much time to prepare to go since England. Do you feel like you've had time to address sort of your shortcomings there? That there was a few things that you really wanted to sort of get down, I guess, before this series.
Yeah, we had a few days in Queensland prior to leaving. We had about 4 days together, and so it's a chance to have a decent review. Look at the opportunities that we left out on the park, and areas we just got to be better. We created chances. You got to grab them at this level, and had we done that, England would have been a bit of scoreboard pressure on them and forced them to play. Maybe out of their comfort zone, but we weren't accurate enough and good enough to do that, and you end up finishing second. So disappointing. We're better than that, and we need to prove that this weekend.
Dave, Rory Arnold's situation. The situation with Rory Arnold. Can you give us an update on that? What condition he's in, and if he's back for the second game or in contention?
We would anticipate Rory will be available second test. Even when he arrived here, he did a little bit of training prior to coming in with us, and he just got a pretty minor calf strain running actually. So he's had a good week of on his feet and training, and we've increased his load a little bit, but it was never really in contention for this. So. We'd anticipate he'll be right for the second test.
Thanks. And how close is the call at the moment between Jake and Tate for that backup role?
We talk about it a lot because they're quite different players. Tate's X factor, he can carve teams up, and so you think about that against tiring defences. You look at someone like Jake, who's his speed to break down, the quality of his skill set. He's got a very good running game as well. So, there's not much between those guys. But if we look statistically, Argentina have been excellent in the last 20 minutes of games. And we know we need to be really clinical around there, and we think Jake's skill set will be important.
Thanks. Just one more around Samu. And what did you kind of have any input into the decision for him to go to the Commonwealth Games? is that something that was put across you? What's your kind of reflection now that what's happened's happened? And do you feel like maybe you've walked under a ladder or broken a mirror or something? Like, how unlucky are you feeling right now?
Well, Samu's the one who's hurting more than I am. Obviously, it's been really tough for him. But look, I was part of the decision making from the start. When I first spoke to Samu about coming back, we checked in, was he keen to be a Wallaby? And he was. Was he keen to go to the Commonwealth Games? And he was desperate to go to that. And we thought it was a great opportunity. He could go and contribute, help them win a medal. And so we don't regret the decision. It's footy in it. Yeah, bit of a freak injury, and he does an ACL, and so we gutted for him. He was devastated, but we don't regret the decision for him to go. It was the right decision for Rugby Australia.
Hi, Mari. How are you? Dave, sorry, how are you? I want to ask you, what does it mean for Australian rugby to face a team that is coached by Michael Cheika?
Obviously he's coached a handful of the guys in our group, and they've got a bit of an understanding of how he works, and they kick the ball the least of the Tier 1 teams in the recent Test series, and so we think that'll continue. They'll play a lot, and so there's a bit of risk versus reward there. Some of their attack was excellent, and they scored some unbelievable tries. Our job's to try and force some errors from that. So, whether they'll alter that a little bit, I guess we're planned for both. But, Czech's got an optimistic mindset. I think he'll want to play, and our players realise that.
And about the fly half position, what are you expecting with Quade Cooper's return, and what do you think about the absence of Nicolas Sanchez?
Obviously we're excited to have Quade back. He's just got a great understanding of the game. When we talk about little details around who we're trying to sit down and how we're trying to create space for others, his ability to share that and convey that to the other players is excellent. And he's more than happy to sit down in front of a computer and share his knowledge, and so it's been great for all our young men. And in regard to Sanchez, obviously a world-class player, but Carreras has been excellent. I think he's a definite running threat, and obviously he's played a lot out the back. We were thinking maybe even if Sanchez was available, they may not start him. So, I think they've got good depth in that position, obviously.
Last one, guys, and we'll come to the guys in the room if there's anything else online.
Dave, just the hooker position with Dave Rennie going down earlier in the week, turning to Lockie Lonergan off the bench. What are you sort of looking for him to bring late in the game?
Lockie's he's a really good footy player. He's not the biggest man, but a good athlete, quick. He's got post-tackle presence. He's a very good thrower. So we just want him to come out and do what he's been doing all season. He's had to be patient and wait for his opportunities, and he gets a chance to make a statement this weekend.